Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 7th edition of the Bus Drivers Are Out podcast with our host, me, Brian Cohen. So now that Real World Portland is over, my attention will shift officially to Rivals 2, which is set to premiere on Wednesday, July 10th, and should be an explosive season. To help get you ready to go for that season, I had the opportunity to speak with Laurel from a few of the past challenges to get her thoughts on this season. We talked about experiences on her past seasons, kind of what led her to join the challenge and everything alongside that. And then we went through the entire cast of Rivals 2 to get her thoughts on each team, and even got her to give a few predictions about who she thinks will be taking home the title come the end of the season. So you'll get all that in a bit. Let me just remind you, you can follow me on Twitter at BusDriversRoute and go to BusDriversRoute.com. And you can even start subscribing to these YouTube videos, so during the season they'll pop up immediately right when I post them. All right, let's get to the main event. Here is Laurel. Before we talk about this season, I just want to talk a little about your past experiences on the challenge. So when you first joined, you came in through not a Real World season, but Fresh Meat. So when you first auditioned for Fresh Meat, how much did you know about the challenge life? Were you a fan of the show? Did you know about the people?
I originally, when I sent in a tape, I sent it in for the Real World. So okay. I wasn't even trying out for Fresh Meat at all. I tried out, I think, a year before Fresh Meat aired, and I was I was doing casting for the Real World Brooklyn, and then they called me later. That didn't work out. I didn't end up going on the Real World Brooklyn. I made it to the finals, and I felt kind of uncomfortable when I got there, and I told them that. I was like, you guys, I don't know what's going on. I feel really weird. They give you this huge contract, and, I didn't have a lawyer or anything, and I didn't blindly sign it. I actually read the whole contract, which was, 29 pages, and it was a little scary. So I was like, I don't know how I feel right now, you know what I mean? And yeah. I think that they felt that I wasn't right for the show, and so I didn't get cast for the Real World Brooklyn. And afterwards I was like, man, I wish I would have just, not been like that, but whatever. So a year later, I got a call from a producer saying, hey, Laurel, we know you didn't want your personal life shown on television. We've got this new show, if you want to do it, you're on it.
Cool.
And he told me what it was. He told me what it was, and I was like, at that point, I was interviewing for jobs in Boston, and I was like, I'm going to do both of these at the same time. So I was interviewing for my job in Boston, and I was talking with the people from MTV, and they basically didn't hire me in Boston, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure. I can't get any job. And they cast me for the challenge, and so I was like, okay, I'll just go on this, because I didn't have anything going on after that. Okay. And the thing that I remember most from the challenges is that my roommates in college watched the challenge with CT and Diem, when they fell in love. And I remember we would come back from volleyball practice, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, we have to watch the challenge. And I never really watched it consistently, but I do remember seeing episodes, I mainly remember the love story between CT and Diem.
Okay, cool. So you started off, you did 3 straight challenges, and now this will be the third straight that you haven't done. So do you miss being in the house, miss the competition, and miss it all?
A little bit. I actually just watched the first episode of Rivals 2 last night.
Okay.
And a little bit, I miss traveling a lot. They take you to these amazing places, and you get to live in a mansion, and you get food put out for you in the morning. But I don't miss the craziness. And I feel like now that I haven't been on in 3 seasons, I have a better grasp of reality, if that makes any sense. When I first went on the show, it was all new. Then I went on again, and it was I kind of had a tough time with the second one that I did. And then the third one, I was losing myself. I don't know it was hard. Like, adjusting for me from being a normal person to being on television was a difficult thing for me, and I don't know if that's the normal case for the other people on the show, but it was like a difficult thing for me to be on television because I'm not an open person normally.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just got teared apart, ripped apart, and that was hard for me because I seem tough, but I'm a sensitive person at the end of the day. And so I feel like this time off that I've been taking has given me a chance to just remember who I am, and if I were to go on another challenge, I would come back even harder and even stronger because I'll be myself and I will have had experience. So those two things combined are frightening for other people.
So I'm sure you've been asked this a lot of times, but I got to ask you now again. Were you asked to be on this season of the challenge and even the previous two before it?
I was asked to be on all of them. I got the first call for Battle of the Exes, but then they ended up going with Diem because CT and Diem have a stronger love story than CT and I in terms of exes.
Right.
But yeah, I was asked to be on the other two.
Okay. So in your 3 seasons, you've made it to the finals each time, but you finished second each time. So what do you think has been the biggest reason why you've always been the bridesmaid but never the bride?
It's just not my time, you know what I mean? I'm really proud of myself that I've made it to all 3 finals in all 3 shows that I've been on, and I've gotten second place each time. I think the biggest thing that I need to work on is letting go of my control issues. So, for example, like with Cara Maria, I didn't really trust her. You know, it took me a while to warm up to her. And then I also think that I was going after the wrong things. Like, I was focused on money, and I should have just been focused on doing the best that I absolutely could. And I think that, like, those things catch up to you, you know? Like, if you're money hungry, it's not going to work out for you. And I don't know why, but I just feel like it's really weird. The people who win the shows win at the time that's good for them. And I feel like if I'm destined to win one of these, it will happen for me when it's supposed to happen. And, you know, like I was thinking about it, and I might cry if I win. It'd be like, I feel like I was a little bit entitled, you know what I mean? When I came in I feel like I might have been like a slight bit entitled, and nobody wants to see an entitled person win and triumph. You know what I mean? Like, they want to see somebody they like win and triumph. So maybe that was one of the reasons, you know? Like, I just had a lot of learning to do.
Yeah. So last question, then we'll go straight into this season. So this might be my own craziness thinking, but during the shows, now that with the new formats with exes and rivals, do you or does anyone else ever have a strategy of purposely getting into a fight or hooking up with someone who's a good competitor so they can be paired up with them in a future season, or am I just way overthinking this?
I hear people do that. I don't do that personally. I can only speak for myself. The things that happen to me on television, the things that everyone has seen that I have done, I've done. That's been me doing that. I have heard people say that certain people do that, and I have occasionally heard people say, hey, let's go stir up some trouble, but I don't think that that's entertaining to watch. I think that as a viewer, it's better to watch people who, you know, are honest and who are real people who don't go and do things falsely. You know what I mean? People want to see what's actually going on. They don't want to see things that are fake. And I know I wouldn't appreciate it.
Do you care to name drop who you've heard has done that?
No, I think it's pretty obvious. You know what I mean?
All right. So now Rivals 2 coming up in a couple weeks. So definitely want to get your thoughts on the cast. So let's start with the women team. So I'm going to go through each one, and you tell me whether you think they are a contender or a pretender to win.
I love that.
Obviously, not everyone's really here to win. So
I'm going to go with my first. I'm just going to go with what comes out of my mouth.
We'll start with a fellow Fresh Me Too person of yours. We'll go with Jasmine and Teresa.
Pretender.
Pretender, okay. The longtime pair, Diem and Anissa.
That one's tough. one of the contenders on the bottom rung.
So maybe they'll make it to the end, but they'll just be kind of dragged along. They won't really have a chance of winning.
I feel like yeah, they've got a little. They're not in the top.
Okay. The rookie team, Anastasia and Jessica.
They got no chance.
No chance, yeah. Okay. I mean, I totally agree there. Team subtitle, Camilla and Jimmy.
I would be interested to see Jemmy. I think that they'll be middle of the road contenders.
Nope. Okay. Cook and Naomi.
Naomi's so cute, but I just don't think that. I think that Naomi will will hold them back.
Yeah, it's a shame because I think Cook could actually be really good at this. It's just a shame she got stuck with kind of a bad partner.
Yeah.
Fortunate for her.
Sucks. Yeah, it sucks.
Then maybe you guys should have a Twitter fight so next rivals you can be paired up together because you two would do really well.
No, that's my problem. I don't really have a problem with anybody.
Yeah. All right. Next team, Nani and Janae.
They're going to be out.
Really?
Uh-huh.
You don't think they stand much of a chance?
I mean, Janae, I do think Janae. All right, they're all right, but no, they're not among the top.
Okay. All right. Sarah and Trishelle.
Pretender.
And last one, Paula and Emily.
Contender.
It seems like something drastic would have to happen for them to not to win. No one else would give them much of a chance, much of a run in the final.
Against Paul and Emily?
Yeah.
Sarah, maybe Sarah and Trishelle, but they'd really have to be focused. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, it depends. You know what I mean? Like, it depends on the type of final. If it's heavy lifting, then no one has a chance. Emily is a beast, you know?
Mm-hmm. How tough are the finals? Because obviously, like we said, you've been in 3, so just how brutal are those?
I mean, I am the wrong person to ask because I just do what I have to do to get it done. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But people say they're really hard. I just do it. I just endure it. It's a whole day's worth of work. That's a whole day's worth of like lifting things, doing puzzles, running, not eating. It's an entire day's worth of exercising.
How much training do you do before seasons to get yourself ready for this?
Not as much as everybody else.
Really? You could just stroll up and dominate?
I'm a natural athlete.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the way you're leaning is Paul and Emily. This is theirs to lose, right?
Yes, them, and I feel like it's them.
Okay.
I mean,
right.
Emily, I got my eyes on Emily. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, she is kind of similar to you. I think you two will probably rank right now as the top 2 female competitors. So if you guys ever got on a season, you probably had some great head-to-head battles. Maybe in the future.
I remember on Cutthroat, I was like, damn it. Another girl, because most of the girls, they stand no chance, you know what I mean? And you can tell.
Yeah.
And then there were some people that I was like, I got to see these people, you know what I mean? I got to see them in action. And then I was like, no, nothing. But Emily, we're comparable. Her and I are comparable.
Yeah, I'd agree. All right, let's shift over to the men. I think this is definitely more wide open. So we'll start with Derek and Rob.
Pretender.
I agree there. I think they'll probably be one of the first ones out. The defending champ and the 4-time champ, Johnny and Frank.
Contender.
What is Johnny like to live with? Is he as kind of manipulative as he seems on TV?
He's really good at getting in people's heads.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good at that. I don't know if he tries to do it or if that's how he actually is, or he's just, I don't know. I really don't mind Johnny Bananas at all. I kind of like him, actually. I just know that he is really, like I said, he's really good at getting in people's heads. So if he wants to, he'll mentally, without anybody realizing it, twist you up. Like what he did in Rivals was he went over to Adam. He totally psyched Adam out. He made Adam believe that CT was the wrong person to trust. He broke that team apart, and that was one of the reasons why they lost the elimination against Johnny and Tyler, is because of that mental game that he played against Adam. So when I was there, this little inside information, Adam trusted Johnny more than he trusted CT, and that was the demise of that team. If Adam would have trusted CT, then they probably would have beat Johnny in that elimination round, even though he grabbed the wrong balls. So Johnny's really good at what he does. I got to give it to him.
Yeah, he's done a lot of these. So over time, he's definitely gotten more and more comfortable in it, more and more manipulated, more and more better. And he has to be the biggest powerhouse probably going right now. So Frank must be jumping jacks that he's his partner.
I mean, he's made a career out of it. This is his job. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, he's the highest grossing earner, I think, in the show's history.
Mm-hmm.
Next team, Dunbar and Tyree.
Not even close.
Not even close. Those two, they seem like they should be good at this stuff, but they're always quite awful. Right?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, he's like a big guy.
No, Dunbar thinks that he's like really good, and then I'm shocked that he doesn't stop talking about how good he is, because like he's always the one that like falls or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you'd think that after leaving and not, you know, I mean, I guess he made it to the final in Cutthroat, but there wasn't really much competition there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that if this was just like a straight like bodybuilding thing, they'd be great. But I don't know if they're exactly the most coordinated people, which is kind of a problem with these challenges, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Next team, Zach and Trey.
Contenders.
That
team kind of reminds me of Cara Maria and myself in a male form. Because Trey's like a little mini version, you know, like he's strong, but he's just like little mini compared to Zach. And I feel like that team reminds me of me and Cara.
That's true. They're one of the teams that actually seem like they really don't like each other going into the season. Was that the case in the first Rivals? Were a lot of them actually really true rivals with each other?
I mean, if these people really hate each other, then they have too much time on their hands. Come on, you don't see these people for months, and then you still hate someone. That's just too much energy to waste on hating somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They could be playing it up for the cameras. I don't know. Like I said, I don't do that, so I can't tell you the answer. But you know, if they really do hate each other, then they need to get busier.
Right. So the next team is kind of the same way, CT and West.
Contenders.
Because West seems like he has a litany of people who can be his rival, between him, Johnny, Kenny. He's like a circle of potential rivals. So.
Yeah. Somehow he manages.
Is West as hated amongst outside the challenge community as he is in the challenges?
I don't know. I think Wes is just like an easy person to point the finger at, honestly. I think he's a little bit delusional, about how he sees himself, but I don't mind the kid. He can be really sweet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't bother me, and I have no problem with him. But like I said, I think it's just easy for people to blame things on Wes instead of blaming them on something else or on themselves, you know?
Yeah. What was it like when you first met CT in Rivals?
When I first met CT in Rivals, let's see here. I gotta go back to the airplane. Is GT intimidating? No, he's like such a big sweetheart. He really is a big sweetheart. Or at least he was to me.
Well, you two had a nice little relationship.
What's that?
You two had a nice, fun relationship on that season, so.
Yeah, now that I see him, actually, I saw the first episode of Rivals too, so I can't say what I was just about to say.
Well, I think they kind of hinted at it at the trailer with Anastasia.
Oh, did they? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. I don't know. He kind of seems like everyone's kind of young now. They're coming into the challenge. They're young bucks, and CT's like been on these shows for a really long time. It's just like really huge generation gap.
Yeah, he's the old guard and the new guard. It might be almost getting weeded out.
I met Anastasia, and she was talking about CT, and I was like, oh God, here we go.
Yeah, like I've been there. It's been there.
Yeah, I've been that naive girl.
All right, next team, the rookie male team, Jordan and Marlon.
I think they stand a chance, but they really got no shot.
Really?
Can let them dream.
You were a rookie team, well, part of a rookie team, I guess, in freshman, and then you dealt with rookie teams. What is the dynamic with veterans and rookies?
I was never a rookie team, really.
Yeah, you were a freshman, so I guess that doesn't count. So what about in your other two seasons when you were a veteran dealing with rookies?
Veteran dealing with rookies?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't play a political game. I don't. That's one thing that I don't do, and that's probably, I just don't care. I really don't care. Like, I really don't care what anyone does in the house. I don't care what they say about me, even though I do a little bit. Like, it hurts my feelings a little bit, but, like, I can't, just gotta not care, Like, they just talk about things. I just feel like they talk about shit all the time, and it's like, shut up. Like, they're trying to predict what's gonna happen next. I'm like, you can't predict it. Like, take it one day at a time. Like, that's how I do it. They read us the clue, and everyone's like, oh, my God, it's going to be this. I'm like, you don't know what it's going to be. Like, go to sleep, and then we'll see tomorrow. They're like, oh, we're going to win. Oh, we're going to do this. And I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. Like, you're all going to be wrong. And then they're like, oh, we're going to do these alliances, and we're going to have each other's back. And it's like, you guys are all stupid. No one has each other's back. We're all in this by ourselves. And occasionally, if you need help from somebody, then you ask if you can, like, get a vote. Or, you know what I mean? I just don't like the way the game's being played anymore. I feel like no one's having fun anymore. I feel like everybody's out conniving against each other. That's one thing that I don't like. I don't like about the shows right now. Like, it just seems like it's too staged. It's like, have fun, compete, beat each other up when it's time to beat each other up. Don't be a pussy, and go into an elimination round and do your best. That's my theory.
Yeah, these shows, it's definitely evolved over time, especially even just looking just at the challenges. It used to be like a party house with a side of challenges, but now it's like, this is like a sport. Like, these are serious challenges and stuff like that, and people take this stuff, like you said with Giant, like, this is their job. It's not like just some fun little real-world house where people go party. Like, they take this stuff, like, if you screw up, you're taking bread out of my mouth. Like, this is my living. So it kind of makes it a whole new dynamic than it used to be 5 or 10 years ago,
Yeah.
All right. Final two teams, we got Knight and Preston.
I think they're entertainment.
And I agree. I think they're the comic relief of this season. I think they're going to be very funny. Mm-hmm. Especially, I love Knight. Knight's hysterical.
I love Knight.
Yeah.
And I actually like Preston too. But Knight makes me laugh. Like, I legitimately laugh when he says things. I'm like, yeah, I laugh.
Yeah, I can see them just being like brought on the first few weeks just because people are bored. They're like, let's just keep these two because they're funny. So I think
they're going to be like Leroy and Mike from Rivals 1.
Yeah, I can see that. What was Mike like with in that season? Because I don't think we'll probably ever see him again on these challenges. So what was he like on Rivals?
Really nice. Wants to talk about plants and crops, and actually it was nice to have somebody who talked about other things besides drugs and like partying and like going to clubs. Man, oh my God, I'm so cool. No, you're not. Shut up. And second of all, I don't want to hear it. No, Mike was cool. Mike was cool because for me, I enjoyed the conversation. I enjoyed the fact that he was different, and he's a sweetheart.
Yeah, he's the one thing not like the other in this cast. He's kind of dropped in, like he's like a regular person, smart guy, dropped into a sea of crazy and seeing how he interacts.
I've actually hung out with Mike outside of the challenge, and he's just a pleasant person to be around. I enjoy him.
Yeah, definitely. I had a chance to meet him too. He's definitely a cool guy. He's definitely a nice guy. All right, final team, Ty and Leroy.
Man, I love Leroy. I think Ty's going to blow it for him.
I agree.
Yeah.
Ty's one of those people. He seems like he should be good at this stuff, but something usually always goes wrong with him.
It's funny. In New York, my friend was like, oh, that guy Ty that you were on the challenge with, I went to school with him, and, like, he was on the football team, and, like, then he quit or something, and I don't know. I just feel like I'm gonna hold my tongue. But
don't hold your tongue. Let it rip.
I just feel like everybody's a little bit of a faker on the challenge.
Mhm. And trying to parlay this into something else, maybe.
Mhm.
All right. So, who would be your final three for the men, and who you got winning?
CT, Johnny, Leroy.
That's your three. Who you got winning?
Either Johnny or CT.
Okay. I think that's what it's going to come down to too. I could see Johnny and Frank winning again. They're battle tested. Got a good team. At that, I think they'll take it down again. Form a little dynasty. So so before you go, just I was curious, who are you closest to out in the challenge universe now outside?
I talked to Cara. I mean, I like everybody, but we don't really get to see each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Teresa. I'm close with the fresh meat people because we shared something, that it was kind of like a mini real world, because we experienced that, just us.
Right.
It was like a thing that we did together, and I'll always have like a soft spot, for those people. And Cara, obviously, I'm going to see Cara in July, going to Montana. It's going to be so much fun.
Awesome. Cool. All right, so before you go, where can people find you on Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff?
Oh, if they want to talk to me on Twitter, I'm at Laurel Stuckey, which is my name. And other than that, on MTV.com.
MTV. Okay, great. Hopefully we'll have you back on a challenge soon, so we can finally get you get that championship ring on your finger.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
It's great talking to you. Anytime you want to come back on during the season and talk again, I love to have you.
All right, thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
There it is. The 7th edition of the Bus Drivers Are Out podcast is in the books. Hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all feel a little bit more prepared about this Rivals 2 season, which should be a very, very exciting one. So before I wrap things up, let me just remind you once again, follow me on Twitter at BusDriversRoute. Go to my blog, busdriversroute.com, and start subscribing to these YouTube videos. I have a lot of exciting things planned for you all, so you definitely want to stay tuned. That'll do it for me. So until next time, have a good one.